It's all over.
What up, what up, what up? What's cracking? What's poppin'? You are officially tuned in to AllOva Radio. And as always, it's all over, all, until all falls. It's your boy Loudmouth in the house. Down south drafted, west coast crafted. Yes, indeed. And my partners in crime, right across from me, Compton's finest, Caution 700 in the house.
Yerp. What's the deal, everybody?
What's cracking, Mr. 700? And my light-skinned brethren from another mother, Mr. B. Clark, to my left-hand side. What's happening, baby?
What's going down?
We are coming to you live from the great state of Texas, from the city on the come-up. DALLASO, yes, Dallas, Texas, man. And we are here to give you what you want and what you need. And for those that don't know, AllOva Radio is a show brought to you by Black Kings, for Black Kings and Queens, and for anyone and everyone who rocks with Black culture and matters that concern Black people everywhere and all over. And it's all over all, till all falls. As always, we'll chop it up about what's trending in current events across the U.S. and abroad. We'll drop knowledge and insight on complex political matters, introduce you to dope creative artists in different creative spaces from different parts of the country, and we'll give you the 411 on dope organizations and individuals that are making an impact in Black communities all over the U.S. and overseas.
It's all over.
For sure. Well, let's not waste any more time. Let's see what has everybody socially influenced.
For a subject today, excuse me, I am under the influence.
What is the deal? It's your boy B. Clark, and I am bringing you Socially Influenced. And the first topic I got for everybody today is, this is obvious. We knew this was coming, first and foremost. As soon as they said the reopen was going to happen, the rise in the corona cases is going up rapidly. And now they have this mandatory
corona cases from the corner store are starting to sell out. You're talking about the virus.
The virus.
The
corona cases, yeah. The coronavirus cases are going up.
The corona case. I didn't know. You was talking about it. 12 pack.
We talking, baby. We on. Pay attention to get left behind. All the cases are going up rapidly, drastically. I believe last time I seen on TV it was 40,000 or close to 40,000 cases a day.
In Texas?
No, across the U.S.
Across the U.S.
Yeah,
40,000 a day?
Yeah, it's going up crazy. Like, people are out, like, ain't nothing going on. No mask. Well, in Texas, I know they, in our part where we at, Dallas, we have the mandatory face mask, and every business, you have to wear the face mask or some type of face covering, bandana.
The bandana thing is a little suspect to me.
Shit.
I'm not wearing a bandana.
Yeah, I'm not wearing one either.
I do have a mask that has the bandana print on it, so I wear that because it's a mask. You know what I mean? But I can't put on I'm not wrapping a rag around my head.
But do you think they authorizing, like, for example, in California, you gonna authorize cats to wear bandanas?
Yeah, they doing it anyway.
How is
pull it over your nose when you come to the store?
How is that going to impact, like, gang enhancement laws? You know what I'm saying? Like, you walking around like, it's okay. Are you banging? Or you? I actually try to protect yourself from COVID.
Like, with my job, like, letting me come in the door with the red rag type around my face. What are they going to say? Like, no, but no, that's my face covering.
I always just take I use the medical joint at work. I just put the one on, with the little blue in the front with the filter, just so I'm going to keep it cordial. I don't want no problems.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely wouldn't walk around with a rag on my face. Just the stigma of that is going to bother me.
It just,
I don't want them to do it.
We already got enough as Black men walking around just in our normal skin.
I don't need no extra problems. Yeah. No. Just go walk into my car. I don't need no problems.
Right.
I guess, like, the face mask thing, though, I'm struggling with it, though, and I know some people are refusing to wear face masks. I'm not going to be one of those that's, trying to, like, juke the dude at the Walmart so I can, like, come into the store, like I've seen on social media, and fight clerks and, like, but
I just don't understand how you don't want to wear it. Like, this virus is no joke. Like, people are dying and you refuse to wear a face mask, and the first person walking around coughing, sneezing.
The main argument that I've been seeing is that people believe that the masks aren't effective, so they feel like we're just being told or sold something in order to do something about something that we have no control over.
Yeah.
So that's been the main thing. The people that's just like, oh, I'm not wearing that shit, it don't do nothing. And so I haven't really seen anything else, but that's been the main retort. Like, hey, it don't do nothing. So while we wearing it, it don't stop the transmission. I'm just like, if I can cut the percentage down a little bit, like just a little bit, I don't care if it's just 2 to 3%. I'm taking it. So I wear it. I don't care.
Yeah, I wear
and
mine
take
too.
it off in the car. Quit being crybabies.
Yeah.
You know, see, here's the thing though. Like, I'm not about to. Okay, so I go to Costco and shop. They ask me to wear a mask. I'm gonna wear the mask, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm not going around wearing the mask on my own volition just because they say so. So I guess, you know, I got a little rebellion in me from that side of things, and I can understand why people don't want to wear it. It just feels awkward. Like, and also too, there's not any consistency in the protocol.
Yeah.
Wifey and I went to go eat some sushi the other day. All right, we go into the place. They say face mask required.
Right.
Okay, well, I go into this place to get my food. Well, how am I supposed to eat my food? I gotta take the face mask off.
Take the face mask off.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm asking legitimately, like, okay, like, so am I supposed to, okay, can we sit down? They say, yeah, okay, you can sit over there. Okay, well, then do I have to keep the face mask on? Like, I'm ordering my food, I pull it down. I'm seeing someone get to go food. They don't got a face mask on. So, like, who's enforcing these things, man? Like, and where is the consistency in the protocol? That, I guess that's my issue. Also, man, people just are not very smart. Have you seen people riding around in their whips with face masks on, bro?
No, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, what,
that's like the people who have the gloves on in the car. You know what I mean? When they wear the gloves on, so you wore the gloves in the Walmart to touch the basket and the trash can and to put your raw chicken meat in the basket, and then you take it in the car and rub it all over your steering. I don't understand it. Or you hold your phone. That's what creeps me out. The gloves with the phone, because you just touch it all over.
You touch something and touch your phone, and now your glove is contaminated.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not gonna speak this man's name, but I was at work the other day and he had gloves on and he was cleaning. You know what I'm saying?
He gonna come for you, Clark.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm not saying the name. I'm cool. I don't need that smoke. But so he was cleaning, doing everything. He's been touching everything, corona or whatever you want to call it. And then I see him over in the cut, just digging in his eye with the gloves on, fam. Like, he was just digging in his eye. So I thought I was tripping. So I just kind of walked past and I looked back.
A little too loose.
And he he went right back to it. Like, he didn't get it the first time. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stay away from him.
Yeah, man.
He's gonna be on quarantine in here in the next couple days. So but
I
don't want to wish
that
on him, man.
I found our AllOva drop, so I couldn't find it at first. That's why you didn't hear it when you look. I know you was waiting for it. I felt it. But it was on the desktop for some reason. So we found it though.
Okay, yeah. I just kept moving.
I'm glad you did. You know what I'm saying?
You know, okay, so all right, so I guess on social media, like, what I see is you got the videos of the angry people refusing to wear a mask, and they look like plum fools, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm also seeing is people shaming each other for not wearing masks, which is weird to me as well.
That makes no sense.
No, but I'm seeing, aren't y'all not seeing the social posts of, like,
it make no sense.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you calling people stupid and shaming them.
Yeah.
I even went to the grocery store and listen, I didn't wear a mask. I'm not sick. I'm Gucci.
Yeah,
I'm fine. So I don't really have all the concern. I keep the hand sanitizer in the car.
Yep.
I go someplace, I wash my hands. I come to the car, I put the hand sanitizer on, and I keep it moving. I personally don't wear the mask wherever I go. I do wear it when I'm required to, if I walk into an establishment out of respect and courtesy. But I don't believe within my free will that I have to do it unless it's mandated and it's governed by law. And what I've noticed is that I'll go into an environment and people now looking at me, it's like, not only do I get funny looks being black, now it's like I'm black with no mask. And so now I'm getting, I don't know if I'm getting the looks because I'm black or if I'm getting the looks because I ain't got no mask on.
Look at him.
Both of them.
Yeah, both.
It's black and it has no mask.
Both of them, yep.
What do y'all think about that though? I mean, just like we seem to polarize everything in this country, man. You know what I'm saying?
They make you pick a side every time. Like, you have to pick a side. So now we have to have the argument
that you do.
And it's still people dying. There's still people that have it, that survive it. There are people that have it and don't know they have it. So what good is a mask for somebody that's asymptomatic and probably already has it? Well, maybe that'll help prevent it from passing it on. I understand that much. So I haven't gotten tested myself. So I don't know necessarily how to play that, but I'm also not around a lot of people. Like, I see y'all and my family more than I see anybody else. Like, I'm not really close to anybody else on the regular. So I guess that's the difference. Like, if I'm in Walmart, I feel like I'm protecting myself from that nasty ass place. So I feel like
Walmart is
you know
wild.
what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'm protecting myself. So that place I don't feel, it's just like grocery stores or like just anywhere where I'm in close vicinity to some people, like maybe let's just keep this small.
But
barrier.
I'm just like you though. Like I just wear it in the buildings that I have to wear. Like once I get out of there, I'm ripping that joint off and getting in my car. Like and I'm moving
walk around outside.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
I got a question though. So if COVID into Walmart and you go into the produce, people picking the fruit, you put your hand on the banana, you pick it up, the apple, you don't want it, you put it back.
Boom.
How many hands came by that apple and picked it up before you bought it?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? How many?
Yeah. A ton.
Exactly. You don't know.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So now when you going home, what you doing now? You taking your fruit? Are you washing it immediately?
You better be.
I am.
Are you
That's one
washing
thing
it
my mama told me.
immediately?
Wash that shit off.
You better throw some water and some vinegar in the bowl.
That deep cleaning.
Let it soak. You know what I'm saying? I ain't playing around with nobody.
Like we gonna have to come to the point to where like new homes are gonna be built with like sterilization chambers, right? You gonna have your garage, your sterilization chamber, and then your house.
That's
you know what I'm saying? Like you know, like like the movies, like in the sci-fi movies when they come in from the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? They come in like this
closing doors and the steam.
You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
be with that though. That's how I feel like I need to do every time I go to the grocery store now. I leave my shoes in the garage where I park. I don't even bring those in the house. You know, I'm low key a germaphobe though, so let me just throw that out there. Mix everything. I think I left that out of the conversation. So it just a lot of shit creeps me out. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't get too close to microphones. I've been rapping a long time in my life. I have a real stigma about microphones.
The MC,
this little film right here. Like you know what this catches? Like I need a fresh one every time.
Turn my level all the way up.
I'm bothered. So I mean I'm on that side of it. I understand. I'm probably one of the ones that go too far, but you know it happens.
Corona feels like the boogeyman to me. Like you never see the boogeyman. No kid has ever seen the boogeyman.
Nah, we seen Candyman.
But you know that the kid down the block got.
Right.
Okay, because you heard about it.
That's true.
But you never seen him yourself. You felt his presence.
You know
and
he's
I feel
around.
like that.
Yeah.
Like it's like you ever like you dap somebody up now. And it's like, oh, did I just make a bad decision?
Dude, this nigga got the Rona? Yeah, you got to second guess yourself.
You know what I'm saying? Like in my second guessing, you know, I was watching I forgot who was on Vlad TV. It was Trey D. It was OG Trey D and Vlad. They was talking about how yeah, man, the days of passing blunts is over.
Damn near.
Man,
You know what I'm saying? Like they was like, nah, bro, we gonna have to just roll 3 for each person that's in the circle.
Yeah, nah, homie, just take your own. You good? Yeah, we good. Yeah. Nah, you ain't got to pass it. We cool.
Yeah, see, that's another rule, man. You got to watch who you smoke it. That's rule number 1 in the smoker's handbook. You know what I'm saying? Like even if this Rona wasn't going on, I was always stringent with my shit.
Yeah. Nah, bro,
we didn't been in crowds. You could ask this man. We didn't been in crowds and clubs and concerts, and it is back and forth. Like I don't care who stick they hand out.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Hey man, what's it on your lip, bro? What you got? What's it on your lip?
What was that? How high when you pass right past homie with the joint on his lip?
Yeah, your lip got some shit on it.
Yeah, got some shit on your lip. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay,
man.
so I have a question for y'all. Do you feel like women are more compliant than men with the mask mandate?
Yeah.
You think so? Why do you think that is? Are women just smarter than us or what?
I think so. Because like I think so. I mean, if I think about my history with just my own experience with my woman, like she put me up on game about cleanliness in life and how to like really get my shit together.
Yeah.
So like I've already been going. I'm telling you, before Corona, bro, I was at grocery stores with the plastic thing on the back.
Right.
I won't touch it.
Yeah.
Like I'm good. I don't want to take that chance of touching it and it's wet and then I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? Forget the groceries. I'm out of here. I gotta go sterilize myself.
Exactly.
So I think they're a little bit more. I think they're a little bit more responsible with those type of things because they're around like small kids a lot more. So they're a little bit more conscious of themselves as opposed to us. We just kind of come in, throw everything on the ground. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the difference.
Yeah. I'm gonna say from just being out and about, the times I have, I've been to a couple malls, I've been to a couple outlet places and stuff like that, Walmarts and stuff. I've seen more black women wearing the mask, more compliant than white women.
Really?
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
I agree there.
I've seen white women walking around, no mask, no glove on, fuck the world. Yeah, I don't care. But then as I look at the black women, not masked up, gloved up, fucking, they damn near got the whole suit on.
Yeah, I watched
got a Gucci.
Everything.
I watched
Gucci,
3 white
Louis
women.
Vuitton mask.
They coordinated.
I watched 3 white women get turned away from a Walmart the other morning,
That's what I'm saying,
because they wouldn't put the mask. Like they had the big blue sign.
You
in the
saw
front.
it yourself?
Yeah, bro. Like they turned at least 3 people away for not wearing the mask. You know what I'm saying? And so they got to the door, got into where the basket's at, and the little man was like, "Nope."
Can't come in with the mask on.
Hey, you saw the video with the old dude. He was trying to juke the Walmart dude. He was old, bro. So he tried to hit him, and then he slipped, and he fell.
That was a downfall.
Yeah. Bro, it's like, man, you
get an A for trying though. Shout out to my man.
Shout out to the dude in the Walmart that's trying to juke. You know what I'm saying? Put the moves on the Walmart employee. Right. I guess, for me, like the women being more compliant than men, it's like another level of control they have now over us, man. It's like it's like another thing they can call you, remind you of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I had a homie that I saw. We was out. He didn't have no mask on.
Right.
He got a text from his wife. Was like, "Put your mask on."
Yeah.
I was like, "How did you know he didn't have his mask on?"
Yeah.
Felt it.
And then I see the dude, and he puts up. I was like, "What you doing? We've been sitting here the whole time." It's like, "Oh man, my wife just called me, told me my mask on."
Oh yeah, she got you.
And then he took a picture of himself and texted it to her.
Put it on,
as a proof, as a receipt.
Mm-hmm. Just so she know. Yeah, she's cool now. Okay, you can continue.
Flash.
I ain't got to come get you.
Yeah. I would say so though. I think that they are more compliant just for the sake of it. I mean, women are generally more responsible than men anyway. Like, let's just keep it a buck. So I would say, that.
Are you trying to increase our female followers?
Listen, that's always my target. Let's not get it messed up. That is always my target audience. Like, those are the people who pay for subscriptions. Your homeboys ask you to borrow your Netflix password. Your girl will just go get one. She like, it's free for 7 days. Just go
you get the free trial. Stop tripping.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a different in the dynamic.
Before you know it, you got 5 subscriptions to streaming services. You don't watch none of them,
and it's just hitting you every month. That's the story of my life right now.
I thought it was $5 a month. Now it's $25 a month. See what you doing to me? See what you doing?
Cutting it.
Oh man. Well, okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I got one thing that I want to bring to the table. Get y'all thoughts on. Since the mid 1800s, the Mississippi flag has had a Confederate symbol on it. They just removed that last few weeks.
Because of sports.
Yeah, because of the running back out of, I believe it was Mississippi State. Yeah. But
they made them change the Mississippi flag.
The whole Mississippi flag. They just got approval from, I forget the man's name. I had it written down. But they just got approval from it to change it. So now it's got to go through a whole redesign. And how do y'all feel about Mississippi being the last state? How did it make it this long with that Confederate symbol?
I am surprised that there are still black people living in Mississippi.
Man,
I don't know why I don't even know why you would live there.
Think about that.
I don't even know why, as a black person, you would even have the inclination to stay in Mississippi in the first place.
No way.
I'll be honest, man. Like there are a lot of states. I've been to about 35 of the 50 states. In my lifetime. And there is a clear and obvious difference when you go to those southern states, right? Like Texas is different. Texas is like its own kind of thing, right? But like when you go to like Mississippi and Alabama and Georgia and Tennessee and Kentucky, there is a definite difference, and you see the remnants of the colonial southern power structure all over the place in the architecture, in the buildings, in the houses. I don't want to look at remnants of slavery every day. No. So, I don't know how they've tolerated it and been in those environments all this long. That's the reason why, like me being from Cali, like we just kind of, conflict is something that we invite. Yeah. So the idea of being in the South like that, I mean, it's a good thing that it's gone at this point, because really, why do you have a symbol of a failed resistance movement on your state flag anyway, as if the Confederacy was some sort of successful entity? You lost. You took a big L. Yeah, and you still take
flag should be as good as those shirts they send to Africa when the losing team loses in the championship. They need to put that just send that somewhere. Like, why are y'all still holding on to these memories, man? Listen. Like you just said, why? I just couldn't imagine like being a college, somebody going into college their freshman year, coming out of high school and say, I want to go to Ole Miss. Or I want to go to Mississippi State. Man, I'm not going to neither one of them schools. It's not even going to be on my list. So I'm surprised that he was even cool with going there. I know why he went there and all the specifics behind that. Yeah. But still, though, like I'd have never went there. That's just not a place I ever wanted to go, where I ever wanted to be. So I couldn't imagine it.
But I mean, if they're giving you a full ride scholarship.
Yeah.
you ain't had
Go
nothing.
out there and take some of that racism.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's
get you a full glass of that racism with it.
I mean, you can't hide from it. You can't hide from it. So
but they treat athletes different though.
That's right.
And we all know this, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so if he's scoring touchdowns,
he's cool with me.
He's cool.
They'll keep him guarded
because he represents the state.
Yeah.
He represents their team.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So he's at a celebrity status going to Mississippi State or Ole Miss, where he's not going to experience the same type of resistance to his presence within the community. And all he's got to do is say, "Oh yeah, I play for Ole Miss or I play for Mississippi State," and he may get a pass for that. You know, so I don't know, man. I guess for me, it all feels like what we even talked about last episode is very reactionary in nature, right? Like, are we doing this because of the fact that there's a recognition that these symbols are offensive and pointless, to be quite honest? And listen, man, I actually, growing up around a lot of white boys, man, I've been into white boys' house that had Confederate flags, and they were cool. I'm gonna be straight up honest, like they were cool white boys. I never had any issue with them in that regard. You know, and so I know that there are some that have this idea. Now, I argued with them and told them that it was wrong, but they legitimately in their minds believed that it just represented heritage for them, right? Like there was things like, I'm from Mississippi or Alabama. This is how my grandparent, this is what we have, but I'm at their house kicking it and I didn't experience any issues, you know? So, but it was just kind of weird. Like, why you got that there?
Let me ask you this. Did you see resistance from their parents? Because it's never the kids, because you're at school with them all day and you're your friends, they got to tell. It's mostly the parents that are the racists or have some type of issue. I've seen that because my dad's in the Navy, so I've been around and I've been around some cool white boys, and then I've seen the Confederate flag too. The kids was cool, but it's like, oh, can Brandon come in? And it's like, y'all stay in the garage.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been to their house, you know what I'm saying? Like, hang out at their house and, you know, ride in the whip, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember this one time when I first moved here, I went into a little party or whatever, and I took a ride with these cats, and he had a Confederate flag sticker on the back of the truck, and I was like, hold up. You know, I don't know if I should be riding with you. He's like, oh man, no man, it's not even like that, man. And I was like, well, what's it like then? He gave me his argument for it. From his perspective, it was still, to me, not sufficient in terms of still maintaining and having that flag in my presence personally. You know what I'm saying? But I guess from a perspective of understanding why someone would not know, because really the history is not really taught accurately. Right? I mean, when we went to school, how much did we actually learn about Black history, about slavery? You learn a little bit about it. It's like a pass-through subject. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna skim right over it.
Yeah, man. So you even have some schools that are calling slavery like indentured servants. You know, like,
Lord,
I'm serious, man. Like, it was just indentured. No. So they're misconstruing the history. So I think a lot of white people just don't have an understanding of the
proper knowledge,
of the level of perversion that existed with our captivity, and why those symbols are so hurtful, and why for us we have such a disdain for them. It's no different than if I went to Germany and somebody was flying a Nazi flag.
You know what time it is with them.
They don't see how that's synonymous, but it is synonymous, right? Like, you can't have both, and you have to have either one or the other. You can't say, I'm an American, but I'm proud of the Confederacy. How can you be proud of the Confederacy? How are you proud of the loser? This is supposed to be the nation that's the greatest nation on earth, right? We applaud the victor. If you what did Ricky Bobby say?
If you ain't
first, you last, right? Like, but that's irony, but that is kind of the American psyche, is that first place is the only place.
Is it ironic though? But if you consider the states that are slowly converting this and changing things that have to do with the Confederate statues and flags, it doesn't surprise me that Mississippi is the last state to do it, though. You see what I mean? Like, because it's a certain demographic. When I see people out with Confederate flags, I don't see the Bill Gates variety. I don't see, your everyday working man. I got a lot of white individuals I know now that I'm cool with, that are individuals I can trust. And, they've even spoken to me about Black Matters without me having to even initiate it. Like, getting texts like, hey, bro, I'm with you on this. But when I look at those that are out with the flags, and it's not those same people. These are the people that look like they came from Mississippi or Alabama or deep somewhere in Louisiana, somewhere or somewhere in Texas, like the place in Texas where they tried to have the Black Lives Matter rally, but it's really a real racist town. I can't remember what it was. I saw a post about it, but just those kind of places though.
Yeah.
So I don't really, you see it and it's just like, oh, okay, y'all still there. Y'all, this is why you're celebrating a loser, because you seem like that kind of individual in real life. So. Yeah, I'm not shocked that Mississippi is the last to come around. They did, whatever.
I like seeing it.
I'm more surprised that they took the flag out of NASCAR than I am off the flag of Mississippi.
Boy, they weren't happy about that shit though.
Y'all know, I've been in media and marketing for a long time, and I've done a lot of event marketing and of all types. Not just within music, other spaces as well. And one time I had the opportunity to work at the Daytona 500, and I built a marketing activation off of, like, they have like I don't even know what it's called. Like it's like their strip of, like, where college kids hang out and stuff like that, right? Yeah. It's like bars and it's pretty lit and popping. So we did an event there off of the water. It was really cool, but I had pit passes to go to Daytona 500.
Right.
And I was nervous.
I would be too.
I said, okay, being in Daytona around the college kids is cool, but now tomorrow I got to go to this race.
Right.
And I didn't know what to expect, and what was interesting to me is that Daytona is kind of like the Super Bowl, if you will, of NASCAR races.
Right, yeah.
So funny, it was actually more diverse. There was actually black reporters reporting on NASCAR there at the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
And so in the audience, it was what you would expect.
Right.
I had a pit pass, so back there it was more diverse. You had Hispanic and black crew members that it just dudes like working on cars, and they elevated their game to the point to where, like, they're at the highest level of their craft.
We need the best. We don't care who you are.
Yeah, so in the pit, and where the drivers were, it was very opening and it was very inviting and it was cool. I got to go in to hang out in one driver's, big trailer or whatever, man, and they were very nice.
Yeah.
Now, when I wandered outside,
different ballgame.
it was a whole different. And the Confederate flag, I would argue, is flown at NASCAR events more than the American flag. I think I saw more Confederate flags than American flags. Okay, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I counted all the flags, but when I looked up, it was like 1 for 1 or at least 1 for 2 ratio.
Right. You noticed them when you looked up, pretty much.
Absolutely. Yeah. So when they announced the fact that they was banning all Confederate flags from NASCAR, I kind of felt sad for Bubba and them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's the one place where they can be themselves. It's like, I can go to my NASCAR. Ain't no Negroes around here. You know what I'm saying? And now you done took my flags away.
And
like, what am I going to do? Where are they going to go and enjoy their own entertainment without black folks dominating it?
I just wish Bubba would have spoke up sooner about it. But I guarantee you they would have played him off to the left. If all this would have never happened and he would have asked for it, they'd have played him to the left.
Oh, of course we know that's what we all talk about, right? Like, the energy of the day is causing all of these actions, right? Because if it was just normal, regular day, and he came out and say, "I don't want the Confederate flag flying," oh man, ain't nobody having that.
They got rid of him.
That's exactly because the dollar drives everything in this country, right? And NASCAR knows that is their primary target audience.
Right.
And so if Bubba Wallace, if there was no unrest, just came out and said that, they of course would give him. They would have shunned him, absolutely, because they know that we're not going to alienate this entire ticket base that's driving our pockets for us to be rich. Now, when it's convenient for us, and we see that it could potentially impact our revenue, now we want to make these bold sweeping changes, man. But like you said, Clark, last week, I resonated in episode 1 where when we asked, you talked about people being friendly to us, and you said let's see if what happens 6 months and a year from now.
Exactly.
Because we already almost cycled out a couple weeks, a month into it, and we back to worrying about Corona again.
Back to Corona. They keep distracting us. Right. As crazy as conspiracy that sounds, they keep distracting us.
Conspiracy, brother.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I really want to. I'm looking forward to the next segment.
Go ahead.
But one of the things that I think that I want to kind of just go back and recap for a little bit, because I think it's obvious to see that American society was not built for a pandemic. You know, we weren't built for pandemic. We weren't built for unrest in this way.
Nope.
We were built to coast. The vast majority of our dollars are spent on things that we consider to be non-essential items that we really don't need. That's why when the economy hit, where did it hit? It hit the working class, people who are working in restaurants, right?
Exactly.
In service industry. And so we started to categorize non-essential versus essential, and we are having to step back and reflect. And our entire existence seems to be centered around making money and entertaining ourselves.
Right.
If the coronavirus has taught us anything, if unrest has taught us anything, it's that we all need to take a step back and spend time to reflect and reprioritize our lives around the things that actually matter. Okay? And what matters most is our health.
Definitely.
Okay? But not just our physical health.
Mental health.
All right?
Mental health, yeah.
We need to take care of our spiritual health, our mental health, and our emotional health.
Yes, sir.
And of course, spend more time cultivating healthy relationships with the people around us. Social media puts us in these places where we have unhealthy relationships and unhealthy conversations. And these kinds of conversations allow us to bring up differing views and perspectives and it be in a healthy manner.
Right.
But if we lose sight of those truths, then we are no better off now than when the pandemic started. And that's just the honest truth. So with that being said, let's jump into the world of American politics.
Politics as usual.
Politics as usual, that's right. It's politics as usual in America, ladies and gentlemen. The same old soup warmed over, as my grandfather used to say. And today, we've got to sip the same nasty, lukewarm soup of police gang violence again. That's right.
Man.
I said it. Police gangs. Police gangs all over the country. And you say, what are police gangs? We're going to talk about it. Have y'all heard this story about Elijah McClain?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Have y'all heard this story?
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Man, it gets old, doesn't it? Like, this is a year-old story, 2019, that never came into the national media at all whatsoever. And now you're seeing all these, I would say, cold cases of police gang members that have killed black men in different parts of the country for doing nothing other than just being present in those communities. And that, also alludes to what you talked about last week, Caution, of feeling like, well, we can't create Wakanda because if outside of my own environment I feel safe, but yeah, what happens when I go somewhere else? Well, you can't even be safe in your own environment.
Yeah.
Elijah McClain, and this hit hard to me, I think, and you guys probably saw it too, but it felt like the women were a lot more responsive and seemed to be heartbroken by this, like more so than the George Floyd situation. Not that the George Floyd situation wasn't sad, but I'm seeing women of all colors, to be quite honest, posting about Elijah McClain. And I think it's because this young man reminds them of their sons.
Right, because of his demeanor and how he came off, right?
Yeah, he is just this unassuming kid. And young man, 23 years old, no criminal record, no violent history, no prior runs-in with police, just an eclectic artist walking down the street, listening to music and dancing after picking up some tea from the corner store in his own damn neighborhood. Until an Aurora police gang rolled on him, jumped him, choked him out until he threw up on himself and passed out. Okay? Now, if you haven't heard the audio, I don't do it. I don't want to listen to it. I heard it halfway through and I got sick to my stomach. Okay? All that force apparently needed for a 5'6", 140-pound artist. Okay? I don't know what's going on, y'all. I don't know how these things occur and take place. This happened last year. But to me, man, these police are they're like gangs, man. They are actually worse than gangbangers.
It's the biggest gang in America.
They are, and when I look at these things, look at the logic behind this, right? He's in Aurora, Colorado. They say they found a suspicious person with a ski mask on. If you can't wear a ski mask in Colorado, where are you supposed to wear a ski mask?
Exactly.
No, you can't be black and wear a ski mask. That was the part of the law they forgot. Because being black is still illegal.
Exactly.
But let's be logical. Let's be logical. Let's just say he was wearing a ski mask in Tucson, Arizona. Then one can presume
you want some
that
bullshit.
maybe that there's something that I need to investigate.
It's 110 degrees here. What are you doing?
Why do you have a ski mask walking? But this is Aurora, Colorado. He's black. with a ski mask on and a jacket, and the young man's anemic. He's 140 pounds.
Right.
Why do you need 4 officers to roll on him? And this is my thing, is that I believe that they're hiring people that are uneducated and simple-minded into places of law enforcement. They don't have the IQ or the discernment to recognize the situation very well. Yeah. How do you escalate that from me asking and approaching you because I heard something? If you're logical and rational, you say, okay, let's just say you wanted to investigate. Let's just play devil's advocate. You walk up to, hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? Yeah. Oh, I'm fine, officer. Hey, do you live around here? Yeah, absolutely. I live down the street. Okay, we got a call about somebody in a ski mask. Are you going skiing? Oh no, man. I'm just I'm cold. I'm actually anemic. Oh, okay. What's your name, man? My name is Elijah. Okay, well, you may not want to wear the ski mask, man, because people may say something. Yeah. Hey, man, do you have ID by any chance? Oh yeah, sure, no problem, man. I live right down the street. I was just going to get some tea. Okay, cool. How long you live down the street? Oh, we've been there for about 10 years. I've grown up here. Oh, really? Yeah. Right. You see, this is called normal adult dialogue, right? This is what well-adjusted humans do. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So for me, I tried to say, okay, well, maybe there's not hatred. Maybe it's just stupidity. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe these individuals just are not intelligent enough to discern what's going on in situations. Or maybe it's both. Maybe that they're simple-minded and they are also racist. Okay? But I'm tired
both of that,
of hearing stories like this, man, because
there's one after another.
And I hate hearing the excuse about, oh, well, if they're trained correctly. And I had to make this point before. I feel like the police, this is their training. They're trained to treat certain individuals a certain way. Because if you see them operate with Caucasians or white people, they follow the protocol to a T.
To a T.
You know what I mean? They'll allow him to come. I've seen them chase police with machetes. I've seen them chase. You know what I'm saying? I've seen all of this. I've seen it happen so many times, and I'm like, damn, they handle that guy pretty well. You see what I'm saying? But we don't get that same thing, and it's happened enough to where you see, like, maybe this is the training. Maybe they are trained to react a certain way when they see African Americans, because, like you said, there's no reason for them to do that to that young man, right? And even if you listen to him, he's basically saying, "Oh, y'all are hurting me. I'm sorry." He's apologizing to them for doing what they're doing. Like, he's saying sorry for the way that he's being treated through the whole ordeal. It's just I'm tired of hearing about the training, and no, they're trained to do exactly what they're doing. It's just surprising to us that when we see it, it's like, damn, that's fucked up. It happened to a black man again. But then you see a white guy, and it's like, okay, sir, you go about your business. So I think the training,
they shoot them with rubber bullets or bean bags or something.
Yeah, like man, I'm just tired of hearing the excuses. Like, we know what it is.
But this is why I brought up last episode where we talked about policing ourselves, because when you police yourself, you have more grace, right? And you mentioned Anglo-Saxons or those of Western European descent, when police officers of that ethnicity encounter men of that ethnicity, they extend what I would say the benefit of the doubt, right? Yeah, because there is the idea that, okay, if I see somebody that's white that's acting in a way that's unbecoming, they're acting out of character. So therefore, I'm going to reason with them to get them back to right standing. But when they encounter somebody who's black, it's an assumption that there's wrongdoing already going on, right? Yeah, exactly. There's no benefit of the doubt. There's like, oh, okay, there's an accusation. It is true, right? There's already the determination that it is true until, right, someone's either dead, okay, or they're actually at the precinct or in handcuffs, and they recognize, oh, it wasn't my bad. No more my bad. Okay, how do you not listen to the young man's voice saying, I live down the street. I'm an artist. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just different.
Oh, that killed me when I heard that young man say that. I'm just different. Like,
you know what? Come on, man. How do you not hear that? And this is what I'm saying. It would be better to have us be policed by robots. I would rather have artificial intelligence police me than these simple-minded police gangs.
RoboCop.
Okay, now
you see what happened on iRobot.
Will Smith rolled on stuff.
That shit backfired. That shit backfired.
But here's the thing though, like that movie, even the premise of that movie though is that there was so much human error in policing that they replaced it with artificial intelligence,
which is the truth.
Because the key there is intelligence, and that's where I see a deficiency in the intelligence of police officers to have discernment, the ability to make a right choice, and to know this is a threat, this is not a threat. How is a 5'6", 140-pound man a threat? You don't need 4 people to apprehend him.
Right.
That is ridiculous. That is asinine in every sense of the way. And so, I hate to have to always talk about these things, man, but somebody has to bring attention and light to these issues, because they can't just keep getting buried in more buried stories, more buried black bodies, and the nation just goes on and then watches Masked Singer as if nothing happened.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but you know what gets me is that we do bring all the attention to it and the light to it, but it just it's like they don't give a fuck. They just keep doing the same thing.
They give you the empathy pat on the head, like,
I'm sorry, and then 6 months later, another black man dies.
I do think there's something to that, because like you said, I think there's a lack of a connection to what the real issues are, and there's a way to be empathetic, but that empathy also removed from emotion, because they can only care about what they see. So it's like, okay, we saw George Floyd, man, that was messed up. Black Lives Matter. Yeah. But it's like it doesn't stop there. And so like I was having this conversation before, and I think a lot of them don't have the ability to connect to what the real issues are, because they don't deal with it. And so I can tell you how it feels to be pulled over by a policeman, but if every time you get pulled over, your experience is fine, you give them your license, your insurance, you ask you how your night's going, and you go about your business.
You usually get a warning.
So if you've never had that experience, it's hard for you to understand it. You just cope. I mean, you just kind of see what you see, and you base your feelings off of that. So there's a disconnect there, and I understand it, but it still doesn't make it any better. Like, it still doesn't make it any better.
In all fairness, there have been a few times where I've had a police officer that was nice to me. It's been a few times, but it hasn't been often. And I think that is the thing, is that it feels and looks like protocol, like you were saying, right, to handle us in a certain way, with a lack of respect and even courtesy. Like, we are citizens of the society. Okay, we are not a nuisance. We are not a problem. All right. And that's how we are treated, no matter whether we are in neighborhoods that are impoverished or whether we are in neighborhoods that are affluent.
All right.
So where can we go, and what are the actions? And so, this one hit a little bit different, I think, because, I saw the women cry out. And I didn't know until I saw on my feed, it was like 5-6 women posting the same kind of post, justice. And if anybody wants to go and look at that information, you can. I looked at it at this site called scarymommy.com, and there's 2 million people that have signed a petition for justice. And they also had some protests where they played violins, I believe in Colorado, in Aurora maybe, or Denver. And the police met the protesters who were playing violins with tear gas.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's an equal response, right? You're playing a violin. Let's gas them.
Yeah,
right.
No flash bombs. I'm surprised they ain't throwing flash bombs and the rubber bullets.
Let's
crack a few heads.
And the 4 officers, guess what? They are gainfully employed with the Denver Police Department.
Shout out to the Denver Police Department.
Yeah, so they already got donkeys of a football team. Now they got donkeys in the police department.
Oh shit!
You already know how I feel about that.
I see that goes deep with you. That's a deep wound you got.
Raider Nation.
I mean, apparently it's justified by all this bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure. Denver donkeys and Denver donkey police. Man, it goes hand in hand. At least they're consistent. So again, this one kind of hit different, man, and I think that these stories are hurtful. The pain, isn't the same as with George Floyd. Again, as I was saying, that pain manifested into anger for us, I think. Right. For me, this pain has manifested itself into sorrow. Yeah. Sorrow for our people, and sorrow for the fact that our very presence in American society is seemingly not only a threat, but also a nuisance. At some point, you don't want to have any words left to speak. You just have to find things to do. There has to be action, but the question still remains for me: what action do we take, and where do we go from here? But to honor Elijah and his passion for art and creativity, and to match his positive energy and love for artistic expression, we're going to jump into our Art and Life feature for today.
For this episode, we're going to go into the Art and Life section. And like we discussed prior, when we do speak on artists, we're not just speaking on musicians or producers or any of that nature. We're also speaking about artists of all sorts. Today we're speaking about one that I got to know personally, and just a phenomenal artist in general. Goes by the name of Brian Blue. If you're from the Dallas area, or you pretty much habitated this area for the past 10 years, there's no way you don't know either Brian or his brother. Right. His brother goes by Blue the Misfit. He's a popular producer here in the DFW. Produced for Kendrick Lamar, Mac Miller, and a few others. So
again, shout out to the Dallas producer scene.
Definitely.
Fire.
I'm telling you, like, you'll learn a lot there. Shout out to you.
Hats off.
I can't remember when it was. I think we met Blue, what was it, about 2012, 11?
Yeah, about 12.
So we met him through a good associate, a good friend of mine. He's also somebody that we met through Loudmouth, Vince Chappa. We met him because he was actually doing some artwork for me for my EP. Yeah. So, we got with him, spent a day with him, do the things that young men in their 20s do. And we came up with the EP cover.
What do young men in their 20s do, Coach?
Oh, man, we sit around and we pray and we thank the Lord for everything that He's provided us. Shout out to the Lord.
Church-going young men. Okay, I see. Pastor's kids.
But just an awesome guy, and just a little background story on him. He was actually born in Inglewood, California. Moved to Texas when he was in the third grade.
Shout out to the I.
Yeah,
homies from the I.
Come on, man.
Inglewood.
Yeah, shout out to the I, baby. Inglewood family and all them out there. You know what I'm saying? Still whooping and grooving.
Right. So he started painting shoes. That was his first business. And so in high school, he was painting shoes and selling them. And, people would ask him, like, hey, can you paint Doug on a pair of Air Force Ones? So he started there, ended up going to Texas University, got a scholarship for football. His dad actually played at UNLV and played for the Seahawks. So he grew up playing football and sports, him and his brothers. I went from there, decided, hey, I want to be a fashion designer. Yeah. And then one day was like, yeah, but I don't want to make dresses. So he was done with that. So shout out to him for that, realize your potential and expound on it. Ended up dropping out of school his third year in college. Started a clothing line here in Dallas called Uncommon Color. If you ever been out, especially in like the urban area, they should put the stickers up everywhere. It's like a UNKO.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like a little black and white sticker. They put them
UNKO. Yeah. I always thought it said Unco.
Unco. That's what I used to call it. It was super dope though. If you ever seen this clothing line, he was pretty dope. I got a few pieces from him back in the day, but that was his first venture into like his first brand. Yeah. He moved back to California in 2013. This was after, I had got to know him and things like that. So he moved to LA, and pretty much his reasoning he felt was because in Texas, he called it a small pond, and I feel like no one really cared about art. I felt like in LA, people have the space for it and everybody cares about it. So he took his talents to LA.
That's unfortunate, man.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
We changing that though.
But the sad part is he moved there and flourished. So it was like he thought about it and it was the truth. I guess for him it was the truth. In most cases we've seen people go to LA and fail and end up right back here. We've seen it many a time. So
feast or famine, baby.
Right. If you notice any of his artwork, what he does is he uses a lot of mummy illustrations, right? So you'll see, do you remember the picture of the LA riots? It's a guy pushing a basket past a burning store. He has on like a white t-shirt and black pants. He took that image and wrapped the man's face in mummy and his arms. It's just crazy what he does. And I used to wonder why he did it. And so as I was researching him and looking up some of his interviews, what he said was he uses the mummy effect in his paintings to display decay or preservation. He says the characters I create typically take on a life of their own, and so if you see any of his artwork, he just painted a huge mural for the Black Lives Matter thing. It's like a huge green and red and black flag, but you can tell the material of the flag is the mummy. Yeah. The mummy is super dope, man. So that's how he operates. Designed his own line of Jordans for the company's Fearless Ones campaign.
What?
Jordan 1 sold out the first day, had a super big opening at Center. Erykah Badu showed up.
Dang.
Actually, we just had a meeting the other night, and they both, the people we were meeting at, both of them came. I think they both had them on, didn't they? Both of them had on the shoe the other night without even knowing.
Lil Chase did.
Okay, his brother.
How would you classify his expression though? In terms of what it conveys and this sentiment that you get, does he have a specific style that you would say?
I would say it's what he described as it's not perfect. So when you see a lot of people's art, they say, oh, that's not painted perfectly. I can see splotches or I can see lines. His thing is his art is his art, and he conveys his messages through his art for that way. But I would describe it as, oh man, it's I wouldn't say political, but when you look at his art, it's very reminiscent of the things that are going on right now.
So it's like a lot of depiction art, like taking
exactly.
Yeah.
So he'll flip a lot of art that you see, or an image of a policeman in front of a flag, and he'll have the mummy wrap around his face, and so he's pretty dope at that. I know he sells a lot of paintings. I've seen him sell paintings to like Arian Foster from the. He was actually on his podcast, the Say What podcast as well.
Yeah.
So he wanted to get into advertising, so he did an internship at the Marcus Grant Project, which was about trying to diversify the advertising field. So he took all the stuff he learned there and put it towards his art, his social media, and everything. He said he figured out how the big companies do it, and he wanted to do it better than them without a budget. So he's been out there doing it. His quote, as far as what his mission is just to be these are his words, just to be as tight as I can be and try to do something new, but really just to make something. It's really just showing your ideas and letting people inside a different perspective. I don't feel like anyone should be doing anything that they have to do for any other reason than they want to do it. He said that he didn't get into art to be a politician. It's about expressing his ideas his way. He's been featured in publications like The Hundreds, Complex Mag, Nike, Dallas News. He's been all over the place. Like even just looking him up, just trying to find which article to read about him, I was like, man, you are everywhere. So
he does mural work too.
Yeah, he does a lot of mural work in
canvas
too. Yeah, he does it all.
Wow.
He does it all. He's also made album art for some artists like Isaiah Rashad, Schoolboy Q. He actually did the deluxe version of the Return of the Dreamers, the Dreamville album that just dropped.
Yeah.
So the one with all the people that's on the album with their faces painted, he did that.
Yeah,
so
that's tough.
Yeah, man, shout out to him. Little round of applause for my boy.
Absolutely, bro.
And again, like you can find him.
Man is moving.
You can find him Blue the Great on Instagram.
Say it again.
Blue the Great on
How you spell
Instagram.
Blue? Just normal?
BLUE. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
THE.
Normal Blue. Okay.
Normal spelling. Blue the Great.
we like to
Spice it up a little bit.
You got to throw
little razzle dazzle on there.
So Blue the Great on Instagram.
And then his
IG.
website is bluethegreat.com. So
Okay.
you can find him there, and he actually sells art on his website as well. So any paintings, and we'll have some pictures that will show while this is going on. So any of these the paintings that they have are for sale as well.
Yeah.
So it's not only that he's making money from it, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, and I'm kind of proud to say I know him. So
Absolutely, yeah. So if you want to support black art and entertainment, go support that man.
Yeah,
and if he's selling paintings, something you like, cop it.
Right.
It's
and
good.
he's speaking for us. Like you said, we try to be for us. You know what I mean? So if you look at his art, you'll see there's a theme there that speaks. It should speak to you the way it spoke to me when I went and researched it. So
Well, that's dope. That's dope, man. So I'm glad that we got a chance to kind of talk about Blue. On the same kind of art tip, we want to let the people know about the Spotify playlist. Yeah. Yes. It's all over Spotify playlist.
Say it one more time.
It's all over. It's all over Spotify playlist, and you can go to Spotify though. It's at It's All Over Media. It's All Over Media, and we just dropped a playlist called Texas to Cali. So you're gonna find independent artists on there that we rock with, that are grooving, that are doing their thing, Again, the concept of it for us is to highlight the independent artists of the world.
Yes, sir.
We want to make sure that they're getting their just publicity, and no major label artist will you ever find on our playlist. So we kind of just real quick, I want to just kind of give a shout out to some of the artists that made the playlist for this volume 1, Texas to Cali. Jason Lyric, shout out to him. Shout out to Aerodon. We even got the West Coast, Little Pete. A lot of people know Little Pete. He's in the independent circles moving up. From the homie, Caution's hood.
Oh, man, bless him. It's a blessing, man, to get that West Coast music.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man,
the Bully on there. We got some Joe Moses on there.
Shout out to Joe Moses.
Yeah, we even got a collective from Texas, Austin, that area called Idol Creatives. They got a couple joints on there. Rakim Al-Jabbar, cat from H-Town, Corey Paul, even Missy Slick from San Diego, and Suave Burgundy from the D. So yeah, it is.
We got a good mixture on there, man. Y'all go tune into that. I don't even know what song of mine is on there, so I'm gonna go on there to see because I ain't even been to it yet. So we're gonna see.
Listen,
what's on there.
I was in the whip. I think I told you. I sent you a text. I literally just put the playlist on and just put shuffle and play. because I wanted to see like how, Spotify curated it. Bro, it rode. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't feel like I had to skip a track. You know what I'm saying? And I already tried to put together, this one, volume 1 is a certain vibe, y'all. So you can access it again where it's AllOva Media on Spotify. And the playlist is called Texas to Cali, Volume 1. So shout out to the independent artists that are continually on their grind, that are making great music. And so those platform mentions there. So, all right, gentlemen, we got one more segment to go. Let's chop it up about some of the good stuff that's going on in the community.
You need to get up, get out, and get something.
That's right. Get up, get out, get something, y'all. But for many of us, getting out and getting something is much harder than it is for others. For those individuals who have made mistakes in their lives, American society is not one for grace and second chances. In America, when you commit a crime, you do your time in prison, and then when you get out, your sentence apparently continues. Felons can't get apartments because of their felonies. They can't get jobs because of their felonies. And in some places, convicted felons can't even vote. So if you can't find a place to live and you can't find a job, how can you find your place in American society? You're most likely going to go right back to the same activities that got you put in prison in the first place. But how can a nation claim to be great when it doesn't have a desire to practice forgiveness and offer second chances? Today, we want to highlight organizations and this organization in particular that is going against the grain of societal norms and providing felons with a second chance by giving them job placement services. This organization is called Cornbread Hustle, y'all. Cornbread Hustle. It was founded by a young lady named Sherry Garcia. She's a prison reform advocate and founder and recruiter of Cornbread Hustle staffing agency. She's passionate about helping people with criminal backgrounds through employment and entrepreneurship. I spoke with Sherry, and she told me that 1 in 4 people have criminal records in our society. 1 in 4. So how many people in this country, y'all? What is it? What is the number?
I don't know the exact number. It's a hell of a lot of people.
I forgot how many people in this country, but 25% of them have criminal backgrounds. Okay, 95% of all inmates will be released from prison at some point. So it's our social responsibility to provide second chances for employment opportunities. And this is what Ms. Sherry said to us when I asked her about it. And so, for us, this obviously has a lot of relevance because, as we know, we are incarcerated percentage-wise more than anyone else in the country.
Anybody.
34% of us are incarcerated. Most black men get mugshots at some point in their life for the most benign reasons, or maybe for reasons that the law has set up to allow us to fail because it's geared and wired that way. Yeah. But I kind of wanted to highlight this because this lady is putting herself out there, and she has a whole website you can go to called Cornbread Hustle. They have job postings, okay, and they work with individuals that are having a hard time getting jobs. We know that this is a huge issue. Even the Washington Post had an article a while back that said millions of ex-cons still can't get jobs. Yeah. Okay, what do we do? How do you serve your time, get out, all right, and then go into society, but yet you're still held back by the sins of the past? Are we not supposed to move forward? So, I thought this was important for us to kind of talk about and highlight Cornbread Hustle. I know that we all probably here have experience with somebody in close proximity who served time. And so I just kind of wanted to put that out there and, put that on the topic of conversation today too as well.
Yeah, I think for me, it goes back to the point I just made about the police. I think the system is put in place for a reason. I think that it's not a coincidence that we are locked up at a higher rate than any other race in this country. I think that the things that are put in place, there are obstacles even with certain things to where you can't do what you need to do for you to end up back in that same space. Yeah. I think laws like the 3-strike rule was put in place for that very reason. So if you're a person that commits multiple crimes, regardless of the severity of the felony, if we can lock you up for good and get you off the streets, we'd rather go about it that way. Exactly. So I think a lot of this stuff is, again, falls in the line with systemic racism in general, especially considering the options that are there once a person does try to rehabilitate themselves.
Yeah.
So what if you've been locked up for 20 years?
Yeah.
Get out, per se. You've been away from society for 20 years. You don't know really what to do once you get out.
Yeah.
Then you can't find a job. Like you say, you can't find a place to live. So you're depending on others for a certain period of time, all still while trying to adjust to regular life
Back to
again.
reality,
So there's so many pitfalls for it. So this is very important, especially considering, like you say, we all know people that have been through things. And me personally, I know a few felons that go through this right now that's just like, I'm not going to try to find another job. Like, I know what I'm going to do to make money because I don't have no other option. So this is a big deal for any individual that's going through that. I think this is a very great cause. Like, I don't think there's any way around this. Like, we need this.
Yeah.
We need
any little bit of help that you can get always works.
Right.
Because I had trouble trying to get a job too. So I had a little caught a case one time, and having to work at a gas station, a truck stop, and just do some shit that you would normally do as a job. Like, I would have never picked that job in my lifetime, but that's the only place that would hire me because of my background. So, and then in order for me I had to have that job to pay my probation officer and everything. So, if it would have been a list, I could have got a list of any other job to do, or somebody would have helped me, like, okay, well, you can go over here and do this or do that. Then I would have definitely,
because there's tons of people that don't even know how to
toilets and shit.
Yeah,
like that.
people don't know that there's options to get your record expunged or anything like that. There are people that just don't know that these things exist. So it's a very big deal. And I mean, me personally, if I do come across anybody in my direct circle that can use it, I'm gonna pass this information to
everybody
them.
needs help. That background, it will hold you back from a second chance in life, and that's all people need is a second chance.
I mean, so Clark, so tell me, I'm curious, man. Because you know that's obviously a vulnerable thing to talk about that. So I appreciate you having the courage to say that. But I'm curious to hear more about your experience, man. Just from what you went through and even the job that you end up getting. Like, how hard was it to get that job, and how did you feel going through that process? I kind of want to give people a sense of a real person, because some people may not have anyone that they know, you know what I'm saying, that's gone through that. So to hear your perspective as being somebody who had to go through that, I would love to kind of hear your thoughts.
That shit was whack. Like, just to be honest with you, like, when you see, at that point in time, it was like 2004, 2005, I think. So you see all your friends getting call center jobs or working here at warehouse jobs, doing getting good money, and then I got to go work over here at the gas station and clean people's toilets and showers and shit. Like, that's the only thing I could get. Or it was do some lawn care or some type of stuff like that. Those were the only options I had. I couldn't go work with my man over here at the call center. Like, he had a plug, he could have got me in, but because of that one little niche on there, that held me back from everything. And then but it got me off of doing jury duty, though. I'll take that. They seemed to know it was like, I'm a felon.
Yeah, felon. You can't judge. You can't judge rightly.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
this case.
So but other than that, yeah, man, like that whole 2 years I was on probation, like that. I mean, to some people that ain't shit, but 2 years was hell. Like,
that's a long time.
That was the first 2 years I met him. Like, I met him while he was on probation. So we chilling and doing nigga shit, smoking and chilling, and he just kind of in the back
kicking it.
Like, he's always been that guy because of that. So
but that whole experience, it was like, just, you can't get the job or you can't make the money that you want to because of this one thing, this one fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, one bad instance just holds you back, and I stuck with you for however long.
So how long did it? I mean,
2 years. I got that shit right. As soon as I did my time, paid up my fines, it was the deferred adjudication. So that shit, they don't even show up no more. And then I did a little temp job service after that, and got plugged in. It ain't what you know, it's who you know. Somebody hit me in the right direction, and I've been at a good job ever since.
That's what's up. So, but it took some time, man. So you went through some.
Yeah,
you gotta jump through hoops.
Like, bro, I just got this good job in 2011, but before that, like, nah.
Man, it takes a while, man. It takes a lot of work, even for things that you do as in your youth. Because I went through the same thing coming out here.
Yeah.
My situation just happened before I turned 18, but I still, every job that I have to get, I have a document that was sent to me from the courthouse in Compton, California, to tell them that this happened as a youth, and you can proceed. You shouldn't have to worry about it. But it definitely will hold you up if you don't know the steps to get to certain things, man. If you don't have a way around it, or work around, or somebody that you know, like you say, is who you know, and that's a big deal, especially if it's somebody who understands these things and knows that every individual shouldn't be defined by one bad mistake.
Exactly.
Now, mind you, there are people that commit multiple type of instances and they just don't know any other way.
Don't know no better.
But for those that may have had a slip up in life or just trying to get themselves on the right path, this means everything. Like, it means everything.
I mean, but here's my thing is, who hasn't had slip ups in
life?
Right? I mean, some people got caught for their slip-ups.
How bad was your slip-up?
Let's just be honest.
Right.
If we had a video camera for a vast majority, there's things I probably should have been in jail for.
Boy.
Okay, so I just didn't have anybody that caught me in any situation to where like I had to pay for those crimes. But I would say whether you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, or any other ethnicity, you have a point in your life where you make a bad mistake. You make a decision, and if you in your own life expect grace for yourself and say, oh, you know, I'm different, I changed. Well, that same grace should be extended. And you know, I got homeboys of mine that are completely reformed and still have a hard time getting a place to live, man. 15 years later, they got to go through hoops to say, yes, you can let me live here. I had a charge 15 years ago. I'm now grown with kids, and I'm a regular guy with a regular job. You know what I'm saying? So why am I being held accountable for something that happened when I was 19? And now I'm 35, right? So, you know, society, we got to change that. And I think that a part of it, again, you know, I'm big on responsibility and finding that which you can control for yourself, because you can't control the variables outside of your own body. You know, so we have to figure out a way to not get caught up in that system as well, though. Right? We have to navigate and maneuver through it. Now, for some, it is super, super challenging. Like, remember what happened with Nip and the cat that he was helping when he passed away? The cat got shot. They locked him up. He was a victim in a crime. He got shot.
Being around another felon.
No. Because the gang enhancement laws in California dictate that when you get released, if you were an active gang member, you can't be around anyone who's affiliated. Well, if I'm, and Caution, you can speak to this better than any of us in this room, but when you grow up in a certain neighborhood, everyone you know is affiliated. You know. If you get out of jail, who are you going to live with? If your mama was gang affiliated, your auntie, your uncle, your cousins and them, everyone around you in some capacity, and even on other blocks, as you know, like you could have a cousin that's in a whole nother, that's banging a whole nother set and gang, but you can't be around them either. So where are you supposed to go and live? You can't live though your whole life in a halfway house. You know what I'm saying? So the system is set up to have repeat offenders and habitual failure. Right? They don't want us to move past that. And honestly, this is a black issue because we're most locked up, but this is honestly an everyone issue. I got white homeboys that have felonies, and man, those felonies just like a weight, a burden on them. You know, it's tied to them for so many years. They just can't get that monkey up off of their back, man. And so, shout out to Cornbread Hustle. If you want to go and look for jobs, you can go to cornbreadhustle.com. That's cornbreadhustle.com. Now, this is for those listening. We know we have listeners all over. Shout out to all our listeners from California, Louisiana.
It's all over.
All over, overall until all falls. But this service is for Dallas residents. So just to be clear that if you live in LA, Cornbread Hustle's not there yet. But if we continue to give this young lady praise, then perhaps she can expand what she's doing, or you can be inspired and do something just like it in your city. But gentlemen, this has been a great show. I think that we've really covered a breadth of issues today.
Yes, sir.
We talked about a lot. You know, this show was probably a little heavier than our first. You know, the last show, but I think it's necessary. Sometimes that's life, though, right? Sometimes there's going to be more levity. Sometimes there's going to be things that are more serious, but we want to make sure that we're discussing the issues that are relevant and are pertinent to black culture, black community, and again, for anyone that wants to take a peek into how we think as black men. The three of us here, we have a wealth of knowledge and experience in all of our lives, and we just want to share that with y'all. And Clark, thank you for being honest and vulnerable there. We really appreciate that.
Tell us about yourself.
Speak your truth, King.
I ain't got nothing to hide. Shit.
Well, we got any final thoughts, y'all?
Not really. I mean, I think we covered a lot. Shout out to the everybody out there maintaining through everything that's going on, whether it's unrest, whether it's COVID, whether it's just being black in America, or just being you in America these days. You know,
that's all that matters.
Nowadays, if you watch enough of the news, you see everybody is taking a hit. So hopefully everybody's maintaining out there the best that they can, and stay close to family. Now is the time, if no other, be close to family and those you care about,
and take care of your health. Take care of your not just your physical health. We are obsessed with physical health, but we are more than just body. We are spirit. We are soul. Okay, take care of your mind. Take this time to reflect on who you are, what's important to you. And we are All Over Radio. And Birdman, where you at?
We all finished or y'all done?
Yeah. We finished, Bird, but of course we want to remind people where to watch, listen, subscribe, and follow us everywhere and all over.
It's all over.
Indeed. It's All Over Radio, Facebook, Twitter, IG. That's right. It's All Over, ALLOVA Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and IG. On YouTube and Spotify, follow us at It's All Over Media. That's right, It's All Over Media.
It's all over.
Peace.